You can start, madam.
Okay. Good morning, all. See, I'll be dealing with the consumer behavior and marketing research, okay, for fourth semester. Just today, let us first see what are the contents which we have to complete. So we have around five blocks. In block one, I'll be dealing with consumer, the main concept of it, under which I'll be taking nature and applications. And then in unit 2, I'll be taking lifestyle marketing and organizational buying behavior. So this will be covered in block 1. And then in block 2, the whole buying process will be dealt, starting with problem recognition and information search behavior, then how to evaluate alternatives and consumer choice, and then we will be looking into purchase process and how would be the post purchase behavior. Okay, and then in block 3, how the influences would be on the consumer behavior, like personality and psychographics, then how family will influence on consumer behavior, and then the social cultural influences. Okay, so these are covered in block 3. Then in block 4, we will be dealing with marketing research and information system, how the marketing research is and what it is and what its nature and scope are. Then we'll have marketing information system, and then marketing research in India. And the last block deals with marketing research process. So what are the steps involved in the research process, then research design, methods of collection of data, and then marketing research and report presentation. Okay, so we'll start with consumer behavior. See, now first of all, why this we had need to know about consumer behavior. Okay, so as you all know, the marketers all around the world, not only them, the managers and the employees of every company, they should understand first what the behavior of consumer is. Okay, so because no, it is a key to success, and it always helps in meeting the challenges of exciting no world of business. So uh, now there are so many products in the market, no, so we need to know which products, which alternative products the consumer is taking, right? So this is the reason that we have to understand the consumer behavior. Okay, now before we proceed to the further explanation, we should know that consumer is the king in the market. He is the focal point of any business. Okay, because he is the person or she is the person who decides the fate of business, right? The success of any business no depends upon to what extent company no is identifying the needs, the aspirations, the taste, the likes, the lifestyle of consumer, and to what extent they are satisfying them when compared to their competitors. Okay, so that all we need to understand for any success of any business. Okay, then we should know who is a consumer. Okay, normally we understand consumer as any person who uses or who consumes, okay, goods or services. In that is no general, in general terms we tell them no, who consumes is a consumer. Whether he is using a toothpaste and is consuming a bit of paste every day in the morning and completing one toothpaste and going for the other brand or the same brand, that is we will look for into. Okay, so in marketing literature we have to need to explain consumer in a broader sense. He or she may be a person or a household. Especially what they do, they start searching, they start evaluating, they start buying or acquiring and then using or disposing of goods, as I told you in the case of toothpaste. or any services, whether it is Zomato service or Ola service or whatever it is, for his or own use, okay, for the use of group or family members. So consumer in broader sense can be a household unit as well, okay, or an individual person, okay. The term, no, we can use in a wider scope also, not only buying but also using, okay. For example, see, if some Mr. X, no, head of the family, is buying a TV for his family, then he is a customer, or you can say a consumer, but all his family members including himself are consumers, okay. He is a customer who is trying to buy a brand of TV, okay. But all the other families, they are using the services of the TV broadcasting, right? So they are all the consumers, right? If the same X person, if is buying toys for his younger daughter of 5 years old or whatever it is, then he is a customer, and his daughter is a consumer. So we need to understand this customer and consumer in a broader sense, okay. Now, in a family situation or in an organization situation, a person can play different roles, no, roles for regarding using or buying or paying and all, okay. And these roles we can classify as four types, okay. One is user is neither payer nor buyer. User is payer but not buyer. User is buyer but not payer. User is buyer and payer, okay. So in these ways we can understand, okay. Now we came to know about what is who is a consumer, and then what different roles he or she would be playing regarding using of goods or services, or buying or paying of goods and services, okay. Now there's another term in the subject, that is behavior. What exactly it is, okay, right? Now, behavior is nothing but it's a psychological term. Now, for example, if I give you, no, if you have done some mistake, no, so for example, then I would have punished you, right? Then what would be your response? So you may accept that punishment, or there are different no alternatives, that you may no reciprocate my punishment and say that why did you give, you need not have no teachers, they are banned to go for corporal punishments and all, okay. You may agitate this, yes, or sometimes you may accept it, right? So that is nothing but no, a kind of behavior of a person. One may reciprocate, one may agitate, one may be silent and all. So behavior is nothing but no, response to a stimuli. Stimuli, if I have beaten you, then that is a stimuli, and the response you have given, either if you have been silent, then that is your behavior. If you have agitated, that agitation is your behavior, okay. So it depends, how you act, how you conduct, no, in response to a particular stimuli or a particular situation, okay. So it includes no area of every physical action and observable emotions associated especially with individuals. So emotions, if he's angry, his ego, or his status of mind, his psychological behavior, his mental behavior, no, all these are associated with individuals, and accordingly to a particular situation he gives a response. So that is what is called as behavior. Now remember that behavior, no, is always influenced by various factors. Factors like culture. You say Hindu culture or Sikh culture or Muslim culture, right? Likewise, you have attitudes, perceptions, emotions, values, ethics, authority, you have rapport, persuasion, and sometimes or even genetics. So these are different various factors which influence the behavior of particular person. So no, every human behavior, it has he undergoes, or he encompasses every thought, feeling, or action by people. It implies that every thought or motive or sensation and decision that is made every day is classified as human behavior. No, there are some modifications we can make to your behavior. How? By means of good education, good motivation, excellent training, or mentoring, or counseling, etc. Okay, so there's a possibility of making your behavior some modifications. Okay, so always this concept is remembered by marketers, and therefore they try to change the behavior. In what way? In favor of their brands, in favor of their products, in favor of their services. Okay, and in what way they are doing? They are doing through marketing, promotions, salesmanship, or customer services, you know post purchase services. So likewise they try to modify the behavior. Then now, what is exactly consumer behavior? We have come to know these two terms in a different ways. One, we have learned about what is consumer, and then what is behavior. Now let us join these two words together to know the exact meaning of consumer behavior. Now, when we take the definition given by Loudon and Della Bitta, what they are saying is it is a decision process and physical activity which individuals engage in when evaluating, acquiring, using, or disposing of goods and services. So it's very beautifully said by this Loudon and Della Bitta. What they are saying is consumer behavior is a decision process. Now when you take a morning physical activity of brushing your teeth, for example, okay, so there are plenty of brands available for the brush as well as for the toothpaste. So what you do, you don't need to have all the brands in your house and all types of brushes, and with all the brushes and with all the toothpaste you won't brush your teeth for a day, isn't it, or for a month. So what you do is, among the brands available in the market, you try to pick the ideal one for you, or what you feel it best. Okay, and then likewise the toothbrush also, and then you use it. So what you're doing is, from among different alternatives available in the market, you are picking the best which is suitable to you. So that is nothing but decision making of yours. Okay, so consumer is same. No, you are making a decision of selecting the best from among the available alternatives. Okay, so for that, what you have done, you started evaluating. So 1 month if you have used Colgate, and the next month Close Up, and the next month Dant Kanti, and also you will try to evaluate it, which is best. Which month you felt better with your teeth, there is no sensation and all, right? So you try to evaluate it, and then you acquired it for 3 months, and then you used it, and you have disposed it, and then you came to know about it, and then which suits you best you have selected, and you started using it. Okay, so this is what is consumer behavior. So majorly, we as a marketing student, we are, and not only ourselves but marketers, they want, why they are interested, and in what aspects of consumer behavior they are interested in. Okay, so they are interested in 9 questions. Okay, number one is, what products or services do consumers buy? So this is the first question they are interested in. So they just they have their feedback forms, they have their no routine sales check and all. They'll come to know about no most of their consumers, what they are buying. Okay, then why do they buy products is the second question, right? Why? Is it because of quality, or is it because of low price, or is it because of availability of that product in that particular place? Yes, so they'll try to know and find out the reasons behind buying such product, okay, or their product, or their competitors product. Next is, when do they buy those products? So usually they'll be seeing the time. time of buying those products, or in which season. Is it during winter season, or during wedding seasons, or during festival season? And what is usually the period of buying these products? So they'll have an eye on their consumers. Okay, that is, you have to remember. Next is, where do they buy these products? So whether it is online, or they go to a retail, in which place they are buying, right? In which shop they are buying. Likewise, they look into the data of their consumers. Then followed by, how often do they buy those products? So they know, in one way, number of times they are buying. Yes, each month, or each week, or each year. Yeah, frequency of purchasing they'll be looking into. Then how often do they buy or use these products? So the regularity, whether they are discontinuing with that brand, or if they have continued, for how many times they have continued, and to which period, no, to that extent they have used. They'll see that also. Okay, marketers. Then how do they evaluate those products after purchasing them? So that is nothing but a mechanism, or a criteria for evaluating the product. Then they look into what will be the impact of such evaluation on the future purchases, right? So what would be their no post purchase experience of the consumer? So that database also they'll keep into their books. Okay. Then how do they dispose of their products? What time they are taking? Okay, if it is a toothpaste of some 100 grams, so how many days they are using, and how they are disposing it, or whether there is a wastage of it or not, they look into. So in other words, marketers, they are interested in knowing the aspects of consumer behavior, like what, why, when, where, how. Yeah, these questions they try to answer. Okay, that is what you have to understand. Now, let us take an example to understand it more better way. Suppose if a consumer wants to buy a car, and he belongs to an upper middle class, suppose. Okay. Then a teenage son, somebody by name Rahul, we can give the name to you, to that teenage son. He is seeing a car ride, and he enjoyed by his friend, right? He may ask his father to buy a new car. Then the elder son, he may advise the family that that kind of car, no, is different, let us buy this brand and all. And the head of the family, he may decide about how the car is made and all. And wife sometimes very no eager about the car and all, then she'll answer. Otherwise, no, she just say, whatever decision you take as the head of the family, I'll agree to it. No, that is what she says. Then the husband, no, he might take a final decision, no, keeping the needs of the family. Then he goes to the dealer and then purchases a car. Okay. Then the wife and the children might have used no more often than the head of the family. Then Rahul, first, he may have an imitated idea of buying a car, and therefore he plays the role of initiator here. Okay. And the elder son, he is the influencer, and father is the decider. The wife and children, they are the users. Okay. So what I mean to say is, we have no different kinds of consumers, like who may be an initiator, or who can be an influencer, or who will be a decider. Sometimes, no, all these three would be played by one, or sometimes, no, there would be different initiator, different influencer, and different decider, and different users. So that also we have to keep in mind, right? Okay. Now next let us see the nature of consumer behavior. Now, next topic of our interest is nature of consumer behavior. Yeah, let us continue. Shall we?
Yes, madam.
Okay, okay. Are you following? No, if you have any questions here, you can ask me.
Sure, madam.
Yeah. When we have to understand about the nature of consumer, we have to know that it is a part of human behavior. Remember that, yes, human beings nature, no, it always changes. The taste changes, their likes and dislike changes, their personality, no, sometimes changes, their perception changes. So you have to remember that it is a part of human behavior. And no, it specifically tells you about types of human actions, those concerned with purchase of products and services from marketing agencies. Okay, so remember once that consumer behavior is a part of human behavior. Number two, you have to know is the subject of consumer is interdisciplinary in nature. Yeah, there are so many subjects involved in learning this consumer behavior, because there are theories, there are models, there are concepts which are taken no, from different subjects like psychology, sociology, social psychology, anthropology, economics, yeah, international affairs, right, like that. So many concepts are taken from different subjects. So we term this consumer behavior not just as a unidisciplinary in nature, but it is interdisciplinary in nature. Okay. Next thing we have to know is it is a systematic process. So consumer behavior is a systematic process. So you have input being processed and then you get an output. So in a systematic things will happen, especially when it is related to buying decision making. Okay, consumers and customers, they have to make decisions of buying. No, that is you need to know that it is a systematic process. It always answers questions like why, whether, what, when, where, how, and how much. Yeah, all these things, they try to answer these questions, and in a systematic they process it so that the output they get would be beneficial to the marketers. Okay, that means in what way beneficial to the marketers? Sales may increase, profits may increase, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. Next, let us move to the fourth nature of consumer. Remember that when I have said it's a human behavior, then it is always not flexible but dynamic. Okay. It changes. It changes according to time. See, our behavior during Corona period was different, and now after Corona, our behavior is different, right? Time to time, person to person, it changes. From place to place, it changes. From product to product, it changes. So it always depends upon the situation. So we can conclude that consumer behavior is a dynamic process, and it's dynamic in nature. Next very important aspect of this consumer behavior is it is influenced by various factors like social factors, psychological factors, cultural factors, and economic factors. Okay, see, no, the taste, the likes and dislikes of upper class is different, upper middle class is different, middle class is different, poor class is different, no, and below party line people, their tastes are different, right? So their behavior always changes. So their social status, their psychological balance, the cultural influence of them, and the economic factors definitely would help them in evaluating the alternatives available of a product in the market. And lastly, we have to know that when we want to understand consumer, then it should act as the basis for designing various marketing strategies. Okay, whether it is related to price, whether it is related to product, whether it is related to promotion, whatever it is, yes, it should form a base for that. So marketers should remember that when they make a strategy of any organization, then they need to first understand the database available regarding consumer behavior. Okay, so these things we have to understand. And then we have different types of consumers. So according to Skiffman and Cannock, consumers, they have divided into personal consumers and organizational consumers. See, if whatever I buy and you buy, that comes under personal consumers. Okay. Now, if Dr. Ambedkar University is buying something, no, for the students and all, then that becomes an organization consumer. So hope you have got the difference between personal consumers and organizational consumers. Okay. Yeah. Now, see, we'll go further into our theoretical aspects, understanding these personal consumers. Let us know, understand by differentiating them. Okay. We'll take the first criteria of explaining this. Now, when we take a number of consumers in personal consumers, there are large numbers. See, as the citizens of India, everyone is a consumer of either of the products or services, isn't it? So there's a huge number of personal consumers. Whereas organizational consumers, they are small in numbers. When you take Tata Group, when you take Reliance Group, when you take Dr. Ambedkar University or Kakatiya University. So when you take organizations, when compared to personal consumers, they are very less in number. Okay. So large personal consumers, but whereas organizational consumers are small. Now, when we look into the geographical coverage of these personal consumers, they are widely spread. See, even a person of Kanyakumari is a consumer, and a Kashmir is a consumer, or a Gujarat, or from Seven Sisters, Meghalaya or Assam and all, they are all consumers. So what I mean to say is they are widely spread. But whereas organizational consumers, they are relatively concentrated. See, wherever you have companies, see, you don't find in Kanyakumari, no, any big organization over there, okay, or in a Seven Sisters area like Meghalaya and Assam, you don't find most number of concentrated organizations there. But whereas you see UP or Madhya Pradesh or Noida, if you have taken the Delhi and all, then they're relatively concentrated over there, isn't it? So we can say by this that geographical coverage in organizational consumers are very less. Okay. When we come to the purchase size, personal consumer, see if I'm earning suppose 1 lakh rupees, my my spending capacity is up to 1 lakh only, isn't it? But whereas organizations, there would be millions and billions and trillions. Okay. So therefore, now organizational consumers, their purchase size is very bulk. They buy in bulk quantities. But whereas personal consumers, they buy in small quantities. See, I won't buy a cartel of toothpaste for 1 month or for 2 months or for 1 year today itself. Okay. But what I do is, okay, 2 or 3 I may buy it. So my purchase size is very small. But whereas a company, if they want to distribute to their employees or toothpaste and toothbrushes, then they take in bulk, isn't it? So purchase sizes bulk. When we take the use as a criteria to differentiate between personal consumers and organizational consumers, then they use personal consumers, they use for self or sometimes for a household unit or a family unit. But whereas organizational consumers, many individuals will be there, many groups will be there, and they will be using it. Okay. Now, when personal consumers are there, decision making can be by self or family members. Whereas in organizational consumers, many individuals will be there. No, but first at the low level they have to, and then move to middle level managers, and then the CEOs and all upper level managers, and then they make a decision. Okay. And it's a time consuming process also in our organizational consumers. Okay. Next is purchase skills and knowledge. They are very relatively less in personal consumers, but whereas relatively high and professional in organizational consumers. And the main buying motive for personal consumer is their emotional motives. Whereas in organizational, they look into whether it is profitable, whether it is good, whether it is bad. No, they'll be very rational in taking decisions. Okay, so their motives would always be rational. When they look into purchase basket, large number of products and services will be there in personal consumers. So when you go to DMart or Spencer and all, you'll see personal consumers baskets would be full. Whereas organizational consumers, they are smaller in number. No, they buy more bulk, but number of products are less. And when the procedure is followed, personal consumers do not have any formal procedures. As they feel, as they need, they go and buy. But whereas if the organization wants to buy, they have to follow a systematic of procedure, no, like formal procedure, whom to contact, who would be the decision maker, the manager would give permission or not. Then to that manager, there will be another boss to him, from whom he has to take the permission. So it would be a formal way of buying the products or services for the organizational consumers. Okay. Yeah. I hope till now you have all followed. Yeah. Now we'll move to importance of study of consumer behavior. See, we study consumer behavior especially for three broad reasons, or for broad ways we can say. One is to satisfy consumers, and number two is to adopt the marketing concept, and the third one is to gain legitimacy in the society. Okay, now we'll move to first one, satisfying consumers. See, we do all know that the main purpose of any business is to make profit, right? It's an economic activity. But apart from that, the modern businesses, they have realized that not only this is important, profit is important, but we need to create a satisfied customer, and not just creating a satisfied customer, but also retaining the customer. Okay, so uh, retaining is possible only when consumer satisfaction would be there. Then what is consumer satisfaction? It is his own feeling, whether he is happy with the product or whether he's disappointed about the product. When he starts comparing with the competitive product, okay, then only he'll uh, rebuy the product, or else quit the product, okay, if he's not satisfied. So to ensure customer satisfaction, what marketers should do is they should understand expectations of consumers when they buy a product or services. So what they are expecting from the product: is it low price, is it availability of that product in all the areas, whether whether most of the consumers wants that its color has to be changed. Likewise, so they have to know the expectations of the consumers, especially in terms of their perceptions, in terms of their attitudes, in terms of motives, in terms of learning. Likewise, in terms of the psychological status or psychological mind of the consumers. Okay, so that is first thing. Then adopting the marketing concept is the second important way to understand this study of consumer. One is adapting the first one is satisfying consumers, and second one is adopting the marketing concept. Okay, see, uh, under this marketing concept, the firm, the organization, what they do is they believe in making products what consumers need and want. Okay, they adopt the customer or consumer orientation in all their marketing decisions. Okay, following consumer orientation, they provide a company with competitive advantage, which leads to higher corporate performance in terms of increased profitability and revenue growth. Okay, so uh, after knowing the consumer and going through the database of them, and whether they are loyal, whether they are making repeat purchases, whether they want some price premiums, or they are established customers, or whether they are very loyal to the brand. After seeing all this, they have to make a marketing concept. Okay, then after that, gaining legitimacy in the society. Now this is very important, because they have to know, every organization, they have to live for its long run existence, right? So for that, no, money making does not provide a legitimate reason. That is not the only reason. They have to have a corporate social responsibility. Apart from gaining themselves, no, they have to help the society. So they have to focus on consumers and then satisfy their needs. Then it contributes to better serving the society, isn't it? So consumers and society in general, they will patronize and support business organizations, because all resources they use in business, they are directed for the satisfaction of large number of customers, right? So we need to know at macro level, from social or society, we can say societal or societal perspective. Consumers will collectively influence the economics and social conditions within the society. Now, for example, the desire of people to possess private vehicles to satisfy their conveyance needs in recent times, this has led to the expansion of automobile industry. We have come to see motorbikes, number of motorbikes, number of scooters, number of cars, they are coming into the market, right? That is, automobile industry is growing in leaps and bounds, right? And significant investments are made in this sector. So like automobile industry, mobile industry is growing, right? So this is how things are happening and affecting the consumer behavior. Now, what influences on consumer is our next topic of interest. See, we have come to know that consumer behavior is dynamic, is a very complex. It's very difficult. We cannot predict. See, if you take my example only, no, you cannot predict my behavior. I may buy something today, but I may not refer the same thing to others, and I may refer some other thing to the other consumer or my student, isn't it? So it's very complex thing, right? So we have to keep in mind that customer mind is like a black box. Okay, the behavior of any individual consumer, they are widely influenced by no many factors like economic factors, social factors, demographic factors, political factors, cultural factors, likewise. Okay, so we'll look one after the other. We'll begin with economic influences. Yeah, when we say no economic influences, we need to know about the personal income of the consumer, family income or income expectations, or savings or liquid assets of the consumer, or consumer credit, and other economic factors, need based and all, right? So uh, as long as these factors are studied properly, we cannot understand consumer behavior. So remember that economic factors will influence consumer, and in that, number one is personal income. See, income is always no, it helps you to buy, right? Income, it constitutes your purchasing power, we can say. So it is a main determinant of consumer behavior. See, if you have only 10 rupees and you are aspiring for 100 rupees product, it is impossible. But whereas if you have 100 rupees and you are aspiring for a 10 rupees product, there is a possibility, because income is deciding you what to buy and not. So it's a influencing factor. It is deciding your purchasing power, isn't it? Yeah. So what product it is to be produced or purchased, at what cost and at what time, the gross personal income of a person, the disposable income and the discretionary income. Then what is disposable personal income? It is the income remaining at the disposable of person after deducting taxes and compulsory deductible items from the gross income. Okay, then this disposable income can be spent on many items like grocery items, clothing, food, entertainment, and all. Okay. The discretionary income, what it tells you is, it tells about the balance remaining after meeting all the things which I told you: grocery items, clothing, food, and all. No, after that, whatever things, whatever income is left, then we call it as discretionary income, which we can spend on shopping, luxury items like a purchase of a car or a music system or a costly furniture or TV, and so on. Okay, so that is discretionary income. Okay, so this again, no, if you are increasing this discretionary income, then it will help you, or your purchasing power will increase. Then there will always be an increased demand for shopping, entertainment, and luxury goods. It will lead to comfort and increases the standard of living of the consumer. Okay, so that is all about the personal income. And then second economic factor is, which is influencing, is family income. Okay, see, it means, no, if there are 7 members in the family and if they are all earning, then if you take the total incomes of all the 7 members in that family, then it becomes uh, total family income. So it depends upon the earning members, you can say, and the amount they earn by the members of the family. Such aggregate income always influence the buying behavior of the family. If there are surplus after meeting all the basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter of the family, then they'll think about furniture or car or villa or TV. Okay, then income expectations is another economic factor. Suppose if the salary of Mr. X is trying to from 50,000 to 70,000, 75,000 increase. Okay, then definitely his plan would he try to plan for a car on installment basis. So, similarly, if he expects any fall in future income, then he may not spend that much. He may curtail his expenditure, or he may curtail his standard of living, or he may curtail his comforts and luxuries, isn't it? So that is which you have to think. Next is savings, is another one economic factor. So what exactly savings is? It's mean postponement of present consumption or consumption to future. Okay, it is the tendency of a person to save more, results in reduction of discretionary income to that extent. So they may spend less on purchases, then they start savings. Okay, then at a future date, they may take out some money from the savings and they may buy. Okay, then next is liquid assets. So what liquid assets means? It means which can easily be converted into cash. We call it as liquid assets without any loss. That includes cash in hand, cash in the bank, marketable securities. So if someone if he desires to purchase a luxury product, then he can dispose of these liquid assets and he can buy that product. Okay, then we have availability of consumer credit. Yes, credit facility is no is growing. If you get gold credit, you get car credit, you get house credit, you get many number of credits, facilities are available. So that also is helping the consumer to buy goods like car, TV, washing machines, flats. Yeah, uh, or they are taking personal loans. They are buying some shares and also investing, right? So this is also increasing the purchasing power of the consumer. And some other factors like demand, supply conditions, interest rates, inflation, recession, unemployment. These are all other economic factors which are also influencing the consumer behavior. They may directly influence, or sometimes they may indirectly influence. Okay, so we shall end this class today, and then we'll proceed with all social influences and other influences from tomorrow onwards. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Yes, madam. Coming, madam. Madam, you are in mute, madam.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, tell me.
Nothing, madam. You can go.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
చెప్పుంటే ఆ రోజే కట్టేయండి. అది ఇప్పుడే చెప్పాడు. నువ్వంతా వింటున్నావు. ఇదంతా విన్న తర్వాత మొత్తం చూసేసాను. ఏం తెలుసు?
ఏమేమో తెలుసు.
బయటికి వెళ్ళాలంటే
లేదు, ఇక్కడ నుంచి చాలా లాభం.
రే బావా, వాడి రాని మాట్లాడు. నాకు తెలియదు. నీకు ఎవరైనా డబ్బులు కావాలి?